Hey guys, I'm Skwrrl, and this is General Chat where I talk on a variety of topics related to the MMO genre and related genres. Today we're talking about TitanReach and why I believe it'll be the next Kickstarter MMO to really have an impactful release, despite the fact that its Kickstarter campaign actually failed. A quick disclaimer before we begin: the TitanReach footage that you'll be seeing in this video is actually from the Kickstarter demo build of the game, in which many borrowed assets and placeholders were used. The new, not yet seen build of the game looks completely different. New art, new UI, new map, new everything. Screenshots that you'll see in the video are from recent developer updates though. So, about that failed Kickstarter. Skwrrl Studios only managed to reach $145,000 US out of a goal of $458,000. It's pretty easy to blame this failure, at least in part, on the fact that MMOs like Identity and Chronicles of Valyria more than reached their crowdfunding goals years ago and ultimately never delivered. The MMO community has been burned many times by Kickstarter games promising the world. The ones that keep things more focused, like Elite Dangerous or Temtem or Adventure Quest 3D, are far more likely to find success. Luckily, TitanReach isn't promising the world. They're simply aiming to make a good game, and one that should be realistically very possible for a small development team, even if it's not easy. The Kickstarter demo has already shown us that there's a great base of a game there for them to build on, and it can only go up from here. There are a number of Kickstarter MMOs that still look fairly promising, namely Ashes of Creation and Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. But both of these games are in totally different states of development at the moment, and both are still a long way off. TitanReach's smaller scope and solid base makes it a much more deliverable product, especially in the near future. So, what exactly is TitanReach then? Well, think of it as sort of a contemporary take on old school RuneScape, with a few additional elements borrowed from traditional 3D MMOs, specifically added to the endgame. Let me give you a quick overview of TitanReach's primary features. Right off the bat, you'll notice the stylized art style. Their goal is to make you able to instantly recognize the game as TitanReach whenever you see a screenshot. There are 20 different skills in TitanReach, each with a max level of 100. Like RuneScape, using a skill grants you experience in that skill, which levels you up. Leveling up unlocks new abilities and possibilities within the skill. For example, some skills are mining, alchemy, fishing, cooking, and woodcutting. There are 3 combat styles, all action-based: melee, sorcery, and ranged. Each combat style utilizes 2 of the player's 20 skills, one for power and one for accuracy. Melee uses dexterity and strength. Sorcery uses focus and sorcery. Ranged uses precision and ranged. Side note, the skills for sorcery and ranged should probably be renamed to magic and archery or something like that to avoid confusion with the names of the combat styles themselves. Or rename the strength skill as melee. It's a weird nitpick, but I like consistency. Players will have access to 5 combat abilities on a hotbar. The first 2 abilities are determined by which weapon you're using. The next 2 abilities are more general and seemingly available to everyone. The last ability is for utility, meaning it could be for something like movement or healing. Players will be able to form groups and guilds to take on challenging open world content, as well as instanced dungeons and raids. Competitive PvP will take a few forms. First and foremost, there will be areas of the world with persistent free-for-all full loot PvP. Sounds familiar. But there will also be instanced arenas. There will be an engaging economy in TitanReach, in which most of the items are player-made and tradable. There won't be auction houses. Rather, to encourage player interaction, players will be able to set up stalls or shops. One of the more exciting social aspects for me are the tavern minigames. These are going to include small card games and board games in a cozy environment with friends. You'll be able to obtain some collectibles through those games as well. It's nice to see an MMORPG emphasizing some role-playing aspects. And, finally, TitanReach will have narrative-based quests that are challenging and varied, forcing you to travel the world, solve puzzles, and engage in climactic fights. They won't be holding your hand with a bunch of map markers. So, like I said, you can think of TitanReach as a modern take on old-school RuneScape. And that's not a bad thing. RuneScape has a massive following. I don't think it's unrealistic to say that the majority of MMO players have probably played RuneScape at some point, and I think a lot of them would say that they enjoyed the systems at play, or at least found them intriguing. But let's be honest, the top two reasons why people probably don't stick with the game, and specifically in this case old school RuneScape, are its graphical style and the top-down perspective with clicking movement. For some people, especially those with nostalgia for that sort of thing, it works. For many others, or younger players, they might admire the game's ideas and systems, but one or both of those two things might be keeping them from playing the game more. TitanReach agrees with that sentiment, implementing a third-person camera and WASD movement. It's going to grab people that like RuneScape but have a hard time getting into it. It's also going to grab some current RuneScape players looking for something new. It's going to grab the traditional MMO crowd, who are currently looking at games like Pantheon, which are years and years away. It honestly amazes me that we haven't seen anyone try to do this before. I feel like people have always talked about wanting a RuneScape-like, classless, third-person action MMO. How is this the first real attempt at that? Why has it taken this long? Whatever the case may be, TitanReach is primed for success, as long as it can get enough eyeballs on it through word-of-mouth marketing. Before we go, though, one thing we have to talk about is the testing period access for this game. To be completely honest, I'm not always a wait-and-see kind of guy. If I know I'm going to play a game, regardless of what the reviews are going to say, I'll sometimes pre-order a game. The latest example of that would be Cyberpunk 2077. While not a perfect game, I played through the entire story, did a good number of side missions, and logged about 60 hours in the game. I'm not upset that I pre-ordered the game. In fact, I've yet to feel like I've been completely burned on a pre-order. I'm not going to shout from the mountaintops that everybody should be out there pre-ordering games, but I'm also not vehemently against the practice either. If you have the means and you know you're going to play a game no matter what, I don't personally see a problem with it. With that said, this is not one of those cases. I wanted to make my stance on pre-ordering clear so that I can differentiate that from the situation with TitanReach right now. Skwrrl Studios was selling early access passes for $70 US and lifetime passes for $500 US. I say was because they've stopped selling early access passes as of the last few days, saying that the limit has been reached. I can't speak for the developers, but maybe they want to see how the servers fare before allowing more people in. Once the game releases, whenever that may be, there will be an $8 US monthly subscription fee with no box cost. A $500 lifetime pass gives someone access to every testing period and access to the released game with no subscription cost. These lifetime passes will no longer be sold after March 19th, according to the store right now. The $70 early access pass is for early access only. In the case of TitanReach, early access is a pre-alpha. It's not the same kind of early access you'd see on Steam. Although, let's be honest, some early access games on Steam are barely even in a pre-alpha state, and TitanReach already felt pretty great in the Kickstarter demo. I'm thinking something more like Valheim here in terms of a solid early access Steam game to make the point. After early access for TitanReach ends in Q4 2021, the $70 pass will expire. The early access pass does not grant you access to the closed alpha, or any other testing periods to follow. Skwrrl Studios is selling closed alpha passes for $50 right now, which begins Q4 2021. In this case, I do recommend a wait-and-see approach. This isn't a pre-order. $70 is a lot of money, especially for a pre-alpha product that even the developers themselves are saying probably isn't ready yet. Right now, any contribution should be viewed more as a way to support the development of the game, almost like a donation or further crowdfunding, than an actual purchase of a product. Even though I'm excited for this game, I wasn't planning on dropping the $70 for an early access pass myself, at least not right away. But then I got extremely lucky and won a pass through a giveaway run by MMO YouTuber Kira TV. Shout out to Kira, he's awesome, go check him out. Once early access goes live on March 7th, watch some streams and some YouTube videos. I'll likely be streaming the game myself on my Twitch channel, and decide for yourself if you think it's worth it to spend the $50 on closed alpha access, or if you're just looking to support the development of the game. Make no mistake, I don't see any of this as shady business practices. Skwrrl Studios is very clear and upfront about their approach. I just want to make sure that everyone understands what's going on with this game, since the approach is somewhat unique, ultimately stemming from the failed Kickstarter campaign. Just remember, this is more about crowdfunding to support development than actual selling of a product right now, and that's totally fine. You can't make a game without any money. I believe that TitanReach has an extremely bright future. I fully anticipate the game to pick up a bit of steam once early access goes live and we see the game on Twitch and YouTube. All it takes is one big streamer to try it out, and especially if it's a big RuneScape streamer. This game is going to appeal to a lot of different MMO audiences. Don't be surprised if we look up in 3 years and TitanReach has become a major player in the MMORPG landscape. With its graphical charm, nostalgic skilling system, action combat, competitive PvP, narrative-based quests, instanced raids, engaging economy, and interactive social systems, you're going to find a lot of intrigued MMO players, both old and new, casual and hardcore. Thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know your thoughts on TitanReach and other Kickstarter MMOs in the comments below. If you enjoy the content, feel free to subscribe to the channel and like the video as it helps get the word out. I also stream regularly over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Skwrrl, that's SKWRRL. We play MMOs, MMO lights, survival games, GeoGuessr, 3D platformers, and some other variety mixed in there. There's a link in the description below. I'd love to see more of you over at the Nut House soon. Take care and have a great day.